fans of Warrior Nation, I'm Ray Jackson, and welcome to yet another episode of my all-original mini-series, What's in the Closet? On today's episode, I'm going to show you more of some of the gear which I wear with most of the gear that I've shown in previous episodes. Now, on our first part, which was the previous episode, we showed you some of the silicone gear and some of the wristbands and bracelets in which I wear. Well, here's some more of the gear that we wear, of course. I had to separate them into two drawers for the time allotment, of course. 5 minutes, plus or minus 2 minutes. And yes, of course, you know, I know it's the calling card for the LGBTQ community, which I do support and have great respect for and support them greatly for equal rights in this country. But, you know, back in the 70s, well before then, these are suspenders for the old television series from the late 70s, Mork and Mindy, starring the late great Robin Williams, as well as, of course, Pam Dauber. And you gotta be at least 40 or 50 years old in order to be able to remember Mork and Mindy. No. Shot spot. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yep. Mork and Mindy, one of my favorite shows back when I was like 10, 12, 13 years old growing up. Supposed to have been based in Colorado. You know, Mork from Ork came from a strange planet in an egg in that episode, in that series, of course. I've also got a tie here for when I want to look sharp, of course. Yep, dark gray here, of course. Looks awesome, doesn't it? Also, of course, a bunch of lanyards here. A bunch of lanyards whenever I get all access passes or something like that, of course. Yes, ladies, I got one here just for you guys, of course, just for you ladies. Right here, you can see what it says right here, of course. Yep. It's a boobies one for lanyards, of course. Also have one for fully laced, of course. All of my custom shoelaces come from fully laced, unless otherwise not so available, of course, fully laced. And, of course, I got these for the Raider image, of course. Yep. And after all, when you support your silver black, you gotta support your silver black in silver black. And, of course, I got a bunch of other cool gear here, of course. Got a couple of fine watches here, of course. I mean, you gotta look fine with fine watches. I mean, look at with Timex and things like that. I know all my batteries are dead in most of my watches, of course. Now, as far as bling I wear, you know, with each one of these is concerned. Well, I have a bunch of bling I wear, of course. For the surfer dude in you, I got a puka shell necklace here, of course. I'm going to later on replace this screw-on type of connector with one that's a lobster clasp or something like that, so it's a lot easier to take on and off. And of course, I got the bracelets here to go with them as well. And here's a bunch of other jewelry I have as well, of course. I got a bunch of jewelry here. And, oh yes, you gotta have a gold band, gentlemen. Guys, make sure you say to those ladies before they go after you that you are spoken for. Yeah, you are spoken for, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I have one of these rings, of course. Whenever I go with my love of my life, Alice Yance, I always wear that ring, of course. After all, it says, you are spoken for. A bunch of gold jewelry right here, of course. Actually, it's gold tongue jewelry. I love rope jewelry like this. I really do. It's nice, things like that. And, of course, also, got some hippie gear around here for when I drive my VW split window bus, of course. My 1963 Volkswagen bus. Yeah, I know it looks kind of girly with the rainbow stuff, but back in the 60s, that was the sign of being a hippie. Yep. Well before the LGBTQ community claimed to use their own, of course. I've also got some other rings, of course. Here you go. The Oakland Los Angeles Raiders, 1983 World Champions. Team of the decades, baby. You got, points right here. Of course, the final scores of the Super Bowl, as well as, of course, the AFC Championship game. And you got Al Davis, who will always be God, of course. Al Davis always will be God, to me and a few others. As well as, of course, those replicas of my Stanley Cup champion Los Angeles Kings championship rings, of course, that we got. We won the Stanley Cup twice, obviously, as you can see right here. And, of course, I got another one right here, of course. Yep, doesn't that look gorgeous? Yep. And of course I got a few other rings here and there, of course. Including one of my favorites, an all-time hardcore version, of course. I got this ring 20 years ago over at Hot Topic in the Kitsap Mall in Silverdale. Looks badass, doesn't it? After all, when you look hardcore with skulls and all that, things like that, you're absolutely going to be hardcore, and people will notice it, of course. And a few other things here and there, of course. And yes, I'm not beyond having handmade jewelry or homemade jewelry, of course. You got these skulls with the beads on them and things like that. You know, look right here, of course. I got that from a street vendor right here at Port Townsend, custom made for me, of course. And I've been to a few weddings here and there, of course. I've been to a few weddings. And, of course, this one is, you know, all the Yance family are pretty much married. And, of course, Alice and I have been happily hooked up. This one here was from the late 80s, early 90s. It was one from, you know, when Heidi and Dan Yance and his wife Heidi were married, of course. Also, I got this one from, you know, Sonia when Matt Bishop married her as well, of course. Got that one. And, of course, I got this nice one right here, which I'd like to save up just in case Alice and I decide to legally tie the knot. Well, I don't think that's going to happen, only because we both get Social Security disability benefits, and we would lose most of those benefits if we got legally married. So that's the only reason why we can't afford a pay cut in this economy. And of course, another one right here, of course. Actually, this one right here was from my late mother's wedding back in 1961 right here. Of course, I mentioned that wrongly. This one is from another wedding, of course. And I've got a whole bunch of other gear I can share with you at this particular time. But I really can't right now, of course. It'll take way too long. Maybe we'll do it later on. So until next time, I'm Ray Jackson, and that's what's in the closet.